Well, good day, YouTubers. Uncle Dave from DEECEE's Adventures back at the 100-acre plantation for Season 3 of the Off-Grid Living Project in the 4 seasons in Maine. It is fall in Maine right now. The leaves are almost already falling off of the trees. Yeah, we're so far up north that the fall stuff happens right at the beginning of fall or at the end of summer. You know, most of these trees turn colors like a week before fall even started. So we're really far up north. We got our first hard frost on September 18th, which I guess is kind of early, but even for up here. But it was early, that's for sure. Wasn't expecting it. It killed all the squash and the pumpkins off in one night. So I've got all kinds of material together. We got the some metal roofing sheeting that we're gonna put as like the back wall around the hearth and around the stove. So the wall that's like behind the stove will have a spacer, like some wood spacer, and then this metal sheeting, and that should keep the heat off of that back wall. And then today we also have all the stuff here already cut in the mortar to build a hearth. So we're just gonna build a cement mortar hearth, nothing fancy. We're gonna put it in the frame and try to get it as smooth as possible so it's, you know, looks neat at least at the end. But it's gonna be on a piece of 1/2-inch plywood, and we're gonna put some plastic down so the water doesn't soak down to the subfloor. And hopefully it dries within the next 4 days and we can get the moisture out of the cabin. If we have to, I have a dehumidifier that I could bring down here and run a generator, and we run a generator in there for a couple days, and then it would definitely dry that cement out. But hopefully we don't have to do that. We're gonna just build it and put it together, and hopefully in the next couple days it'll just dry out. I mean, it's really dry in that cabin, and the weather is gonna be good this week. Oh, excuse me. So it's five bags of mortar, and we're gonna mix the first couple bags really dry, and then put it in the frame and put it in there, kind of let it settle down a little bit, and then the last 2 bags will mix a little bit wetter, put that in there, and then hopefully temp it off and then make it all flat and smooth and stuff. So that's the plan. Hopefully it works out. Plus we have to put the hearth in a spot where it's gonna be, because it's gonna weigh about 400 pounds when it's done, and I won't be able to move that by myself, and it's not gonna be easy to be moved. So we need it to like be where it needs to be, which is right under where the stove pipe needs to be. We haven't done the stove pipe either. I was wondering today if I should just cut the stove pipe and get that hole all made and then do the hearth. But the hearth, if I had help, I can move it if I have to, a little bit, you know. It's not going to be attached to the floor. It's going to have its own board underneath, so it will be somewhat mobile. I mean, if it has to be. So that's the project. Welcome to Season 3. We're down at the cabin. 48-inch long boards, 36-inch long boards for the other way, and then this is cut small enough that it will fit inside of this frame when it's all put together. So then the cement will be on there and there won't be leftover board hanging out further than the cement. You know, we want it to be flush with the cement. So the wheelbarrow's there, the shovel, everything we need. There's plenty of water in the water bin from the rain collection system. So we should have everything we need. I guess what I'm going to do first is cut this piece of metal down to the length that it needs to be in, and then put that in there with the spacers so I can at least see how far that comes away from the wall, so I know how far I need to set that, you know, put that away from the wall, because I'm going to leave a little bit of space between that and this thing as well. So if we have to get behind it with a rope or something, we can put something behind it to pull it with if we have to move it. But hopefully we get it in a good spot and we don't have to move it. So that's the plan. You know, I'm not a construction guy, so I'm not going to show you everything I'm doing here. This isn't a how-to. This is just what we're doing out here in fall. Out here in Maine, at the 100-acre plantation. That's what we got going on. First project of fall. We need to get this done. We've been collecting firewood, and now we got to get a stove in the camp because it's getting cold. I mean, this next 3 days is going to be freezing temperatures again. That's cold. We're up in the canvas tent still with the wood stove going every night, so we're fine right now. But once we have to move down here, which is in the next couple weeks, then we gotta have a stove down here. So thank you for joining me. Man, can't believe we're already in fall. Spring and summer went by so fast out here. But we're getting a lot of stuff done, and this is one of the last projects, so hopefully it goes well. Wish me luck. Alright, so there's the basic frame out. Now we got to put this 1/2-inch piece of plywood we have right here inside of it. And I'm going to sweep underneath it one more time though. Make sure it's really clean under there, so if we do have to drag it around, there aren't stones and stuff underneath there that's going to gouge up the subfloor. And yeah, oh, and we got to make sure we'll take the square and put the square on it, make sure it's square, and then we got to make sure this is in its final spot, you know, like make sure it's got an even space along the back wall, and that it's an even line, that it's like straight from the wall out. So there you go, it's underway. Get this piece of plywood in here. So there we go. And then we're gonna put plastic down. I have to cut a piece of plastic out of a big piece of plastic I have. We'll cut a piece that'll fit in there, and then we'll trim the excess after we take the wood frame off at the very end. So you won't really see the plastic, hopefully. But I'm gonna plastic up so that way it doesn't soak through the floor. Alright, so I gotta go find this plastic. Alright, plastic is laid down and stapled up to the sides. Not stapled below where the water level is gonna be so it can't leak out. And now we're ready to start mixing cement, I guess. It's been all spaced away from the wall however far it's supposed to be, and hopefully it's big enough and comes out far enough for this stove. But this stove is really big and it's probably not the stove I'm going to use anyways, but I do want it to at least fit because it's a backup stove. So start mixing the cement real dry and get those first three bags in there. Alright, put some plastic down from the entrance to here so we don't get cement all over the place. And I have this piece of fencing, and I don't know if it's going to help because it's definitely not rebar by any means. But I don't know, I think maybe just having something in there can keep that from cracking. I'm not sure if this will help, but it shouldn't hurt it at least if it's just one layer. And I think it will help keep it from cracking since it's such a big pad. I think you need something in there, and this is all I have. It's just some fencing that was from the garden. So I don't know, when it comes time, after we do the first 3 bags, we'll put this on top and then put those 2 bags down, and hopefully this will kind of add a little something to it. I don't know, keep it from cracking. I don't think this thing will crack on us, at least not immediately. Maybe after the stove's been on it for a while. But we'll see. We'll put that metal fencing in there anyways, see if it helps. Alright, got 2 bags of the mortar in the wheelbarrow. I wouldn't recommend trying to stir up more than 2 or 3 bags at a time. I have a small wheelbarrow, so I'm just gonna do two bags right now, and then once we get most of this out, we'll mix another bag in and mix that at the same dryness and scrape all that out and see how full the frame is and see how much we need. I mean, we should use all 5 of these bags pretty easily. That's 400 pounds of cement. So add a little bit of water. A little bit of water at a time. If you're going to do it really dry, you just want to add a little at a time, then mix it in, add a little at a time, mix it in. Alright, I think that's mixed about good. It looks a little wetter than I was planning on making it, but when it was dry, it just looks so sandy and too dry. And if it's too dry, it's going to be brittle and stuff and not work out. So I think this is about as good as it gets. So I'm going to put these first 2 bags in and see how high it is, and then maybe mix the 3rd bag like this too. And then after, we'll do the two top bags a little bit wetter than this. That way we can just get it pretty smooth. So now I got to get it into the cabin without making a mess. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'm going to try it with the shovel first, but leaves blowing everywhere. But if that's not going to work, then I'll go get a bucket or something. Well, the shovel should work good enough, I guess. Just take it easy and slow, and I shouldn't make too much of a mess. Alright, just dumped that second wetter bag on, and I'm starting to just smooth it out. I went through and kind of like hit it with the shovel all over so it would like fill in any spaces under there. You know, something like this. Kind of do that all over, and did it all over the whole thing. In one direction going up and the one direction going down, and that should fill in pretty much any spaces and keep it from having spaces. So now I'm trying to get it flat here, and the building kind of leans forward a little bit. That's just so water and everything can run off of it easily, but that's making the cement kind of push to the front. So we're gonna have to try to work that back so it's not like that. We want this to be pretty even for the stove to sit on. So I'm just gonna keep going over this, and then eventually I'll go grab a board and use a board, but the edge of the frame's higher than the cement, so we can't use a board flush with the frame or with the form, which I think is how you usually do it, but it's alright. This doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be flat and functional. Alright, the lighting's getting really bad in here because it's like 5 o'clock now, it's fall, so there it is. We smoothed it all out with a 2x4, and I don't have a trowel, so I'm just gonna have to go around with this little board and kind of smooth out these corners and smooth out a couple areas that look kind of rough. But for the most part, it's pretty good. The 2x4 did a pretty good job, and it's pretty smooth. The whole slab is definitely leaning with the building. So, I don't know. I imagine that's a good thing, because then the stove's going to be level. Just not necessarily level with the building. You know, it's just a little, it all kind of came to this side, so the building leans this way. So it's a little thicker on this side than it is on that side. The only way I could have probably avoided that is by making, I don't know how, actually, I don't know how. Because this wet layer on top, whoops, I'm messing up right now. This wet layer on top, you know, it's kind of fluid, so it kind of moves. It moves with gravity. So I'm just gonna finish up these last little places, just so it looks as smooth as possible. I don't know, it's pretty good. So hopefully it dries sometime in the next 4 days. But we didn't use that much water. I mean, there's less than 5 gallons of water there, so that should evaporate in the next couple days. In here, it's pretty warm in here in the late afternoon after the sun's been beating on the cabin all day. So there we go. There's the slab. I'll bring you guys back in 4 or 5 days when it's all dried up. Maybe sooner to put that metal on the back wall. I'm gonna do that tomorrow though. I'm gonna go have dinner. It's pretty good. Just finished cleaning up the equipment that we used to mix the cement. Get this wheelbarrow back up at the garden. And that went pretty well. So hopefully it hardens up nice. And I'm going to go back up to camp right now and try to get a fire going so I can get some food on. I'm ready for some food. It's going to be chilly tonight. Feel it in the air. It's going to drop down to like 35, I think, tonight. It's going to be a cold one. Got the fire roaring over there. Fire went out last night and it was freezing cold. It's like 5 in the morning right now. The sun's starting to come up. You can't see it on the camera though. It was really cold though. It had been like 32 and the fire went out last night. My sleeping bags were not cutting it. Sleeping bags are cutting it, but the pad I have underneath it on the cot was not cutting it. But I can hear a woodcock right outside of the tent making this noise. Today's opening season for them. And the guy is right outside the tent. It's pretty hilarious. Like, you wouldn't even have to leave the warmth of the tent. You could just stick a shotgun outside the tent and have a woodcock if you wanted. I love this property, it's awesome. But it is getting really cold. So hopefully that cement hardened up for us, and yeah, we're gonna have to get the stove in the cabin the next couple days. I gotta get that going. Well, I'm gonna lay here a little bit longer. Wait for the sun to come up. Well, it sure was cold out last night. Everything is frozen. Everything is frozen. Freezing cold. September 30th today. Still have this one hemp plant out. Not doing too good. I don't know, it's frozen like this a couple times, so maybe it'll bounce back, but that's probably the end of it for this one. There's the sun coming up. It'll be melting all this stuff soon. Got the wood stove a-blazing over there. It's the only way to survive out here when it's this cold. Trusty axe and bow saw. Decided to give the chainsaw a break today. Just went and collected 3 loads and brought one up to the canvas tent, and the other 2 went in the wood pile for this winter. This is all dry standing elm. This burns really hot, so this is good for the tent. When I try to burn stuff that doesn't burn hot in the tent doesn't get hot enough it doesn't get hot enough at the back of the tent really. But when I burn this, it gets so hot I gotta keep the windows open. So there's a big difference, you know, depending on what kind of wood you're burning. Beautiful day out though. It's nice and cool. No, not a single bug out here. Just beautiful fall day. I love it. Excited. And I looked at the cement. I'll bring you down to look at the cement. That cement is drying out pretty good. It's still a little soft, but I'm gonna cut the plastic around the top and cut the edge around the top while it's still soft, so it's like got a clean looking edge, because the edges didn't come out so clean looking. So I'm not really good at masonry. This is only the second time I've ever done anything like this. So I'm gonna go clean that up and make sure that's looking good. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. I'm thinking about keeping the frame on that. Even though it's wood, it'll prevent ambers from rolling off the side. But I'll talk to you about that when we get down there and take a look at it. Peel these curtain back so we get some light in here. But that's what it looks like. So, kind of does have a lot of smear marks and stuff on it, you know. I don't know what I could have done to make that better, I guess. I don't know. Should have had a proper trowel. But it looks like it's gonna work. It at least looks like it's gonna be nice and hard, and it's pretty thick, so it came out a lot thicker than I thought it was gonna. It's gotta be like 3.5 inches thick. The plans were originally for a 48 by 48, and this is a 48 by 37. Yeah. So there it is. I'm gonna go around with this around the plastic and try to make that edge look nice and clean. And I think I might leave this edging on here, at least for a little while. But you know, if like a amber or something fell on here, the wind could just blow it right off and onto the subfloor, which is what we're trying to keep it away from the subfloor. If a fire starts there, it's probably gonna burn down the building. So if something fell on this right here and the door was open or something, it would blow it right off and into a dangerous spot. But if I have this edge on it, even though the edge is wood, the wood might start burning, but you'll have a lot longer, and you know, hopefully you'll notice your smoke detectors will go off while it's still just burning, you know, in this wood right here, opposed to your smoke detectors going off once it's burning in the floor, which, you know, once you get a fire in the floor, it's hard to get that out, and then it will spread and burn everything down. That's the next project, get that pipe up. But this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna clean it up, see if I can clean these edges up real quick. It's still pretty soft, and see how it looks after that. I'm telling you, hauling firewood this way is not easy. It's the wood lot down here, super nice. All maples, pretty much all maples. So now that the leaves are falling, once they finish falling, we'll cut a bunch of these really big old ones. All these ones, we'll cut these down when there's no leaves on them and buck those up and put them in a pile up here on the dry land, and those should be pretty dry next year. But we want to do that this fall, so next year we'll be ahead of the game. And we only need like 4 or 5 of those big old trees. Once we buck those up, that'll be a lot of wood, you know. I mean, like 3 of those trees per cord pretty much for those big old maples. And I got a bunch of them, so we'll leave all these small young maples and we'll just go through and cut all the big really old maples down. They're probably going to die in the next couple years anyways, so we'll go and get all the oldest ones out. But we got to get a 4-wheeler because we cannot haul all these maples out like this forever. This year is going to be more than enough. We don't need to do this multiple years. A snowmobile too. A snowmobile would be nice because we can stack it all out here and then come and get it with a snowmobile. But a 4-wheeler makes more sense. I can put a snowblower on the front of a 4-wheeler and I can come and get wood out the woods. And they make, you know, all kinds of stuff to attachments for a 4-wheeler now. So that's probably what I'll end up with. But right now we're hauling it like this, which sucks. But we're getting firewood at least. Damn generator's going on in the back. This little watermelon, this is as big as it was. You know, this is half of it. I wasn't even going to open it because I figured there was no way it was good inside. But I just stepped on the corner of it and it popped open and I could see it's all good inside. Can't believe this small of a watermelon finished. I even tasted a little, it's pretty good. Dragonflies are out. Alright, good day YouTubers. It's like 6:17 in the morning right now, and it's October 1st, which in Maine, October 1st is the first day of upland bird hunting season. It's also the first day of woodcock and a couple other things, but our main target species this fall, or at least in October, is going to be ruffed grouse. That's what we want to get the most. I've never tried one before, and it's been almost 2 weeks since I've been to the grocery store, and it's been almost a week since I ran out of meat at camp. So that should get me excited and get me out there hunting, because we have no meat at camp. All we have is dried foods. So if we can get some grouse, it'll be like having chicken, and I'm pretty excited about that. Of course, it just started raining, so morning of opening day it's raining, which really sucks. But I can hear guys on the road. You know, usually there's not that much traffic in the morning, but I can hear guys driving slow and going up and down the road looking for roads to hunt on. These roads that are right around me are private, so nobody will stop here, but right when you go just past the bridge on the brook, there are just a whole crap load of camp roads that go out to people's properties, and all of those have grouse on them. So there's gonna be guys out there hunting right now, but my property's posted, so today and tomorrow we're gonna mainly just hunt my property and the property across the street that I'm thinking about buying. I really want to get my first grouse though on this property or on that property right here. You know, that way I really know the animals are here and we can get them. So, I don't know. It's starting to rain right now. I don't know how much it's gonna rain. Last night it was like freezing cold at the beginning of the night, but then the temperatures turned and some rain came in and it went up to like 45, 50 degrees. So it was so warm. At the beginning of the night I had to have the fire going, and it was so warm that when the fire went out I didn't have to light it again. So we gotta get going. Oh yeah, woodcock, like I said, woodcock is, you can hunt it this morning, and the woodcocks were right outside. There were 3 woodcocks right outside of the tent this morning. I don't know why they're so close to the tent. They're usually in the driveway, but the last couple mornings they've been right next to the tent, so I don't know if there's insects or something around the tent that they're getting at. But maybe we'll shoot one of those. Those are so small that it's not really worth shooting for me. You have to get a couple of them to even get any meat off of it. But we'll shoot a couple of those at some point this fall just to try them and see what they are. You know, it's kind of like having emergency rations flying around the property with those ones, because there are like dozens of them on my highland here at one time, always. Like, you just walk in the woods anywhere here and you will jump a woodcock. They live right here, and on the brook down there in the wetlands I have, that's where the female woodcock always lay their eggs and have the babies. So this area right here has a lot of woodcocks, but I usually don't hunt them. I rather just keep those on the property and not pressure them at all. You know, if you don't put any pressure on them and just leave them alone, then they'll stay on the property, and then, you know, when Armageddon happens, then you have some little morsels flying around that you could eat. But ruffed grouse, you know, I haven't had any meat for 6 days at least now, and all I have tonight to eat is mashed potatoes and rice. So if we want anything with those mashed potatoes and rice, we better get ourselves a grouse today. Look at the fall colors. Almost all the leaves have fallen off the tree already, and it's only October 1st. Isn't that crazy? But I guess that's pretty much on par for Maine. Usually, most of the maple leaves at least have always usually fallen by this time of the year. But I'm gonna get myself together and I guess get out there. And I don't know, I don't have a GoPro, so I probably won't be filming much out in the woods, but when we get a grouse, I'll bring it back and we'll cut the breast off of it and we'll cook it up at camp together. Alright, we're out here. This is the back of my property, right where it meets up with my neighbor property, my neighbor Joe. And I just jumped a grouse. And I think there were a bunch of them actually, but I followed the one that I jumped. And I don't know, it was right in front of me a couple times, but by the time I got eyes on it, it took off. So there's a lot of grouse out here though. Nobody's been hunting out here the last couple years, so there's a lot of birds. I'm just gonna stay on this little trail that I'm on. I should definitely be able to get a bird today. I can't believe I let that one get away from me though. I know where it is, it's over in the bush over here, but I'm not gonna keep chasing it. On my way back, hopefully it will make its way back out onto the road and I can get at it. But you can hear them too. They make some weird little kind of a pigeon noise. And I can hear them all through the woods, so there's a lot of them. I also jumped 2 woodcocks already, but we're not gonna hunt for those today. We're looking for grouse. Chicken of the woods. Got my 12 gauge Winchester SXP, and this is with a 28-inch barrel that I got from Brownells for it. Haven't shot any birds with this yet. I've taken shots at ducks with it twice, but missed them. I didn't have a boat at the time and it was way out in the water, so it's probably a good thing I missed them. But I'd like to take a bird with this. I've had this shotgun for 5 years now and I've never got a bird with it, so I'd like to take a bird with it today. Wish me luck. Alright, there were 3 of them. One of them was in this tree right here. I could hear them making the noise. I couldn't see them forever. Man, that was a loud shotgun shell. There she is, and it looks like I got a headshot. So hopefully I didn't ruin it too much. Definitely a rough grouse, not a spruce grouse, which spruce grouses are endangered here. Oh yeah, she's down. I had to get in there and get her. Oh, there she is. Yeah, it looks like I pretty much just got her in the head. I don't know. We'll see when we open her up if there's any pellets in her breast. But there we go. My first rough grouse. Yeah, she's done. Wow, that's crazy. It's actually the first bird too that I've shot, at least since I was a young kid. And we used to just shoot crows. It's the first bird I've ever shot that I'm gonna eat. So I'm pretty excited. Had to get this in a bag and take it up home. Alright, here we are back at camp. I actually jumped 2 more on the way to camp, but I want to get this one all turned into edible meat, and it's pretty crazy. Got my adrenaline going. I haven't shot very many things the last 15 years. When I was a kid, I hunted a lot, but not birds. We always hunted deer, stuff like that, rabbits and squirrels, and that's pretty much it. But it's been a while. Every time I go hunting every year, but I rarely see enough game where I feel good about taking any. The survival property down in Brownfield, I only saw 1 rough grouse the entire time I lived there, and I didn't shoot it because I wanted them to try to repopulate the area. If you take them all out, then there won't be anything left. But like I said, I've seen like 5 of these today, and this is my first time. I don't eat very much wild meat. I'd like to get back into it. That's why I'm out here, and that's why I bought a property so far north, so I could have good hunting. But you know, this is the hard part, is opening this thing up and turning it into meat. Once you have the feathers off and everything, it'll just look like some chicken that you're used to. And then that's the easy part. After that, you know, it just looks like chicken. But right now, it's a full bird with a whole body and everything. I can see pellet marks all the way down on its feet. So I don't know. I wasn't that far away from it, but I guess maybe the spread kind of looks like the spread got the whole bird, so there's probably going to be a lot of pellets in this thing. So I got to be careful about that. I can't afford dental work, so definitely got to be careful about that. Got my trusty Mora, old school Mora I used to carry all the time. It's the sharpest knife I think I have. And we're going to split this thing open and get it processed out. Ugh. Yep, it does rip right open. Oh man. I don't think I'm doing a very good job. I already am getting feathers all over everything. Oh yeah, some of the shot definitely went through the breast. Yeah, I blasted right through one of the breasts. That sucks. I know I'm probably doing a horrible job at this, but I don't really know. Haven't done this much before. And we're just taking this breast here. So I don't know if we need to cut a wing away or anything. I'm not really sure. A shout out to Mainly Outdoors. I started following his channel, I don't know, almost 2 years ago, or a year ago now, a year and a half ago. And his channel, last time I checked, was pretty much at 2,000 subscribers, which is where mine's at. But he took a cross-country trip this summer, and his subscribers are up to 7,000 or 8,000 now. So congratulations, buddy. But your video was the video from last fall that I watched to kind of get an idea of this whole thing, how this goes. Though I probably should have watched it again. I'm not really sure I'm doing this right. But there's definitely pellets in here. But we're just going to cut this breast out and then go wash it off. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not doing too good. Here's someone down the road getting their first grass for the year. Man, I did blast this thing all to pieces though. I don't know, I should probably watch this video again. I don't think I'm doing a very good job at cutting this out. All the local guys out here just step on the wings and pull the legs, which I guess that's probably what I should have done. Everything would have, I think, come out a lot better. Man, it does look just like chicken. Crazy. Well, there's one piece of the breast. I didn't really get all of it. There's one half. Man, I blasted this one all to pieces. This knife could be sharper, actually. I'll run it over to the stone before I go out and get another one of these things. Well, I basically did a horrible job at that. Got feathers and shit all over it. I'm gonna go through and cut a little bit of this extra stuff out just to make sure I get it all. I don't want to waste any of this thing. But we're probably gonna not do the legs or the drumsticks there. They're pretty small on a grouse. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't look like I ruined this too much. But there's 2 breasts there, so that's dinner for tonight. Be the first meat I've had all week. And I'm gonna cut whatever's left of the breast meat out of there. And then I'm gonna watch a couple YouTube videos on how I'm really supposed to do this, because I think I did a pretty bad job here. And then I'm gonna go get another one. And we'll probably eat 2 of these tonight if I can go get another one. But there's so many of them out here. I jumped like 5 of them today. Alright, so I took the corpse of that thing and put it out in the woods down the road so the animals could get to it. The hunt went awesome today, and I'm going to go back out there. The processing of that didn't go awesome. I don't know why I was expecting. That knife wasn't sharp enough, one. When I get back, I'm going to have to run the stone over it and then run the strop over it, and then it should be sharp. It's pretty sharp, but you really need it to be super sharp, like a fillet knife. I wish I had a fillet knife, then I could have cut that breast out better. But there's a bunch of excuses. I'm gonna watch a couple videos right here on how to better dress that thing out and take care of that so I can get more meat off of it, because I got some breast, but the way that I cut the breast, there's a lot of meat left over that I think I could have gotten to. And a lot of these guys dress it in the field. They just like stand on the wings, pull the legs, and then everything comes off of it, and they just put the skinned bird in the in a pouch or something. It's starting to rain again, but I'm gonna watch these videos, and then I think I'm gonna head out. I want to get one more, because those 2 little breasts really weren't enough for a whole dinner, and I really want to get a good dinner of this stuff. I think I'm gonna lightly bread it and then fry it in some olive oil. I think that's the way I want to do it tonight. So I want to make like some grouse chicken fingers, something like that. I think that'd be a good way to eat it the first time. But I know that there's a bunch of them. There's like 3 or 4 grouse right at the end of my road here. So, like I said, I'm going to watch another video too, just to make sure I'm doing that right. And then I'm probably going to go grab another bird real quick. All shaky when I walk with the camera. But, just been trucking along. I'm back on my property. I went on the property across the street that I've been interested in buying. The road is just so overgrown over there that it's really hard traveling, and DOT for some reason dumped like 20 piles of dirt in the middle of the roadway, and now it's grown over, so now it's all these little freaking hills with like chest high grass. Is a real pain in the ass to get through. But earlier I saw I jumped at least 4 birds over here on my property, but then after I shot that one, they all kind of took off and I couldn't get back on them. But now it's been a couple hours and I still want to get a second bird. I really need 2 of those to get some real good fried chicken put together tonight, a fried grouse. And it's amazing how much like a chicken that animal is. I hope it tastes like it. Everybody says it does, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I think if I go back here, there might be some more animals. I'm glad I ended up with this property. I originally asked if that property was for sale because I wanted that property because it's a lot drier than this property. But that road is so messed up over there, and my road over here is pretty nice. And I heard some drummers out there, and I did jump 2 woodcocks over there. But I jumped 4 woodcocks over here this morning without even leaving my driveway, my roadway. And I jumped 4 grouse today here on the property. And over there I could hear the drummers, but I couldn't find any, get eyes on any. Over here I can hear the drummers all over the place, and I've seen 4 birds today. So there's definitely more game over here. But the wetlands, you know, having that wet spot, having half of this property be wet up to the brook, has brought in a lot of birds, and definitely the woodcock. There's so many woodcocks. I'm definitely gonna have to shoot a couple of them this week just to at least see what they taste like and get those processed out and see what the difference is there. They're just so small that you really got to have like 3 or 4 of them to even have a meal. And the limit's actually 3 on those a day this year. Last year it was like 6, I think. So it's considered migratory bird, even though I don't think it migrates very much. Or maybe it does migrate in late fall. I don't really know. I'm not really sure about that, but I didn't think it does. I think it sticks around most of the year. But we're gonna have to try that. So I'm heading back out here. The back of my property seems like the best spot for grouse. All right, back at the canvas tent. Got some oil. The stove is hot, so it's gonna heat up pretty quick. And we got these all cleaned up, and they're still wet. They're being rinsed off. And we're gonna put them in this flour, which is, it's just flour and seasoned salt. Usually we double dip these either with some egg or just some water, but I don't want to put too much breading on it. I've never had grouse before, so I'm pretty interested in what it's gonna taste like. I'll wait for that oil to just barely start smoking. Might need to open the stove for a second. Just flip these around, get them all breaded up. This stuff should be amazing. The meat has no smell or anything, you know? Like chicken usually has some sort of a smell, but it's probably because it's sitting in a bag on a shelf or like going through all this process. This literally doesn't smell like anything. When I smell it, I couldn't like get a smell off of it. So that was pretty interesting. I guess that's what it's like when you get really fresh food. That oil should be pretty close to how hot we want it, but we want to really make sure there's a good flouring, because we're only going to do one flouring. And I don't know, I have a bad habit of overcooking everything, so I'll probably overcook this. Oh yeah, oil is hot. No meat at camp for almost a week now. This is gonna be awesome. Alright, so I'm gonna let those cook. I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick, and I'll bring you back once they're getting browned and looking good. Woo. Smells like fried chicken. I don't know, I guess there's maybe a hint of some other smell in there. But pretty much it smells like chicken. Looks like chicken too. And this stove's getting too hot. Cool it down. Overcook these things. I'll bring you back. They're close to done. Oh, there we go. Pretty much done there. take them off the fire and put them on a paper towel, let them dry out a little bit. Make them delicious. Alright, well here we go. An adult beverage too. Guess I'm done hunting for the day. But this stuff looks and smells just like any chicken I've ever had. Stuff is great. Huh. Oh, that was my first bite of grouse ever. I probably overcooked it a little, but I think it's always safer to overcook wild meat. Man, it's crazy. Shot this thing on the property too. It's right on the property line with my neighbor, but on the property. And that's nuts. I mean, not only have I not had meat out here for a week, but also the local grocery store, the chicken always looks so horrible. I don't know if their refrigeration system doesn't work on the chicken aisle or something, but I just stick to beef when I go over there. So this is pretty amazing. Pretty psyched. Getting animals right on the property on opening day. 100-acre plantation. Can't get any better than this. Alright, well, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy every last bite of that and stay warm by the fire for a little while, and then maybe after that I'll figure out if there's anything else I gotta get done today. Grouse hunting successful.